I am moving a lot of red, white, and blue stuff. I am using 4th of July as the keyword, or July 4th, or Americana. I am using all 3 colors in the description because it is our 250th birthday this year as a country. Here's another example of red, white, and blue, 4th of July, Americana. I also took this to 3 places and they all turned it down, and it sold in 20 days for me. Welcome back to Sale, Resell, Sold. My name is Heather. We sell on eBay, Depop, and Poshmark. We've been part-time resellers. July is our 2-year anniversary. We go through our top 10 sales of the week, flip-flop, flippin' weird, and our flippin' fast. And we just talk about where I get the things, why I got the things. That's what we do here. We'll just kick off with our top 10. Number 10 was a Depop order. It was a vintage fossil leather medallion hip belt, multicolored turquoise, was studded. This was cool. I got this at a Goodwill. It was $3. I tend to pick up fossil. I'm a big fan of fossil. They make really cool things, tends to move very well in our store. Picked up a couple more fossil items recently, and I'm not usually disappointed. This did take just over 6 months to sell. And again, that's fine. It's small, does not take up much space. And it was a really cool piece. So it's going to be a specific buyer that's going to want this. Hippie and boho and all that were probably the keywords on this one. I had it listed for $29.88. Somebody sent a $23.90 offer, which I accepted, which was probably 20% off. And after our cost of goods and things, our profit was $17.68. Number 9, Robies by Stride Right, Star Wars Yoda, soft sole, 6-month, green brown leather suede. I got these at my baby shower for my youngest child, who is 13. They've just been in a box in storage. He never wore them. These sold on eBay after over a year. This was one of the early things that was listed. This was one of our first things listed. 573 days listed. Listed for $29.88. It was part of our 25% off sale, which was made the price $22.41. This was a gift, so there was no cost of goods. And either way, it came out of our closet. Profit on that was $18.27. Number 8, vintage Y2K Forever 21 baby doll floral sundress, women's size medium, red, white, blue. And this is a really, really vintage piece. That tag in there, I've never even seen that Forever 21 tag. This is one of the things that I took to 3 different consignment stores or resale shops like Clothes Mentor and Plato's Closet. They all turned it down, but I put red, white, and blue, boho, 4th of July, empire waist. The bust was padded, which is also unusual for these sundresses. It sold in 29 days for $25 on eBay, our profit being $21.48 after our cost of goods being $1.25. I am moving a lot of red, white, and blue stuff. I am using 4th of July as the keyword, or July 4th, or Americana. I am using all 3 colors in the description because it is our 250th birthday this year as a country. I don't know if that's the keyword that sold it. It is a prominent feature of that dress, and it is an interesting choice for the 4th of July, but perfect at the same time. Number 7, Ecco black leather pump, size 40. Danish style block heels, minimalist career. We've sold these before. These came back and we have resold them on Poshmark. I had them listed for $39.88. She sent a $30 offer, which I accepted. She also reached out and asked if they were closer to 9 or 9.5 in size. And I told her that Google AI said that these ran small and they were probably closer to a 9 when she was like, fantastic, I'm an 8.5, 9. And she left us 5 stars on Poshmark. I got these in the bins for $1.25. Our profit was $22.75. Number 6, Disney Resorts travel size toiletries, sea marine, shampoo, conditioner, soap, lotion, sea salt. This is from one of our trips. Yes, I absolutely bring this stuff home and resell it. People really, 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 really like it. I don't use this on my body unless it's in the showers, because a lot of times they have the full size in the showers. If they have these little travel size, we're not using them. I'm bringing them home. We're selling them. And look at that. We made $30 in 8 days. We call this free-ish. You know, it paid for a souvenir, or it paid for snacks, a round of snacks for everybody. It's a win-win, honestly. And a lot of people do it. There's a lot of listings up there. And I try to do a big lot. It sells faster that way. Profit was $23.49. Number 5, Vintage Fossil again. Studded tabbed leather belt, men's size 30, boho, distressed, full grain. This was really cool belt. This was a bins pickup. You see it was missing a grommet there, but it had this cool interwoven leather situation. It was a neat belt. I grabbed it out of the bins. It sold for our full asking price in 30 days for $29.88, and our profit was $24.04. I tend to grab name brand belts out of the bins that are in good condition or good enough condition. Like this is good enough. It wasn't too warped. The leather hadn't split. It just had that one condition issue. And again, Vintage Fossil moves out of our store. So I'm going to grab it. Number 4, vintage 90s J.Jill floral Jacquard midi maxi dress, women's size extra large, black empire waist, velvet trim. So we went to Ohio. When we're in Ohio, my husband stays at his mom's. My mother-in-law is 96 years old, still kicking, still lives on her own, really goals, honestly. She still lives in her house. And so he stays there and does all this work on her house for her 2 or 3 times a year so that she's comfortable and everything's working correctly. And he facilitates service calls and doctor's appointments and all that stuff. And while my son and I stay in a hotel and I go shopping, they don't have a bins. If Toledo has a bins, would y'all let me know? Because I'm not driving to Cleveland or Cincinnati. But if Toledo has a bins, let me know. But there was a lot of yard sales this weekend. It was really, really, really nice in Ohio this weekend. Went to a bunch of yard sales and there was an estate sale. I know the area okay because I've been going there for 30 years. That's about how long we've been married. I don't know it, like, I guess I do know it really well, don't I? It's a little silly. And so there was a sign for an estate sale and I followed it and I followed it. And there was no parking on the street. You had to park in a subdivision behind it. Well, that subdivision had a yard sale. And the subdivision on the other side of this house had like a whole cul-de-sac of yard sales. So I went to this estate sale and this woman must have been heckin' cool. It's a 3-bedroom house. She had turned one of the bedrooms into a library. The basement was a library. The basement had a potter's wheel. She had all this cool pottery in her kitchen. She had all this great clothes, log-in look vibe style in her closet. So I grabbed this dress. And I have said this before, J.Jill also flies out of our store. And I don't mean a J.Jill t-shirt or just like a staple. I'm talking about like interesting pieces, cardigans, big skirts, dresses like this. It doesn't have to be vintage, but this piece, whoo, I should have priced it higher if I had known. But I'm not going to be mad with a $40 sale that happened overnight with a $3 investment, making our profit $29.96. She sold instantly the next morning. She might have been listed 12 hours. And she went to San Francisco, which is where I think she should be. Number 3, Primitives by Kathy, Stand Up, Jack on Crow, Dan DePaulo, Wooden Folk Art, Halloween. I got this in my free group. There has been this guy on eBay trying to get this from me and shipped to where he lives in Asia, but the delivery cost is so high that he's been trying to like get me to sell to him for like $15 or $20. And these are hard to find, these primitives. And I just kept saying no. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to figure it out. I understand shipping's expensive, but so is my time for sourcing and curating and cleaning and researching and photographing and listing and then cross-listing. Somebody chastised me the other week for selling something for more than it sold in the store. Go get it in the store. What's stopping you? But this was Depop. Somebody sent a $35 order, which I accepted because this was Depop. After it was listed for 4.5 months, we made $30.49 on it. It's a cool little piece. Number 2, Free People, Mariella, pull-on shorts, women's size small, navy blue, eyelet, hem, rope, tie waist. I pulled these out of the bins. They sold for our full asking price in 2 months. Our cost of goods was $1.25 and our profit was $30.75. I don't know what number 1 is this week, and I feel like I should, but I can't think of what it is. Number 1, this also came out of that woman's house, that estate sale in Ohio. Vintage 80s, 90s Land's End boil wool Chore jacket, women's size 18, navy blue shacket. Yeah, this was a cool piece. I pulled this because it was vintage Land's End. I pulled it because it was boiled wool. The shacket situation also. There aren't a lot of these listed. Obviously, they're really old, so probably really hard to find these in good shape since they're 100% wool. I had it listed for $74.88, and somebody sent a $50 offer, and it sold in 2 days. I was like, yes, I paid $3 for it, and our profit was $37. Yeah, I'll take it. It went to Colorado. Again, that feels appropriate for this piece. Both of those pieces were in Ohio for some reason. Okay, what was our flippin' fast this week? Oh, wait, it's that vintage 90s J.Jill floral midi maxi dress. And I have midi and maxi because I couldn't tell. And I don't know if Google couldn't tell. Every time I took a picture and was like, what is this? They were like, it's a midi maxi. I'm like, is that a thing? Can it be both midi and maxi? I am not here for fashion. I'm wearing a Fast and Furious t-shirt I got at Universal Studios. Our fastest flips this week, both of them came from the same estate sale. Then we've got the free toiletries from Disney World, and the last two were from the bins of the top 5 flippin' fast. Our slowest flips all came out of my closet. Disney Princess t-shirt came from Box Lunch. I bought these socks in Ohio. Oddly enough, seriously, at the Gymboree at Levis Common, which is not there anymore because Gymboree is no longer there. But my kid needed socks because it was like crazy cold for some reason, and I did not pack enough clothes. And he just needed a pack of socks, and then he wound up not wearing them. 2 Disney pins, gone. Flip-flop. It's not a flip-flop. Meh. These were neat. These were part of our 25% off sale. They were listed for $5 and they sold for $3.66 and our profit was $2.24. And our flip-flop is always just what's sold for the least or negative. And this wasn't negative, so this is a win. This came out of my closet. It took over a year to almost 2 years, 663 days. Flippin' weird. Tory Burch dust bag, lot of 2, purses, shoes, gold charm, travel, drawstring. I pulled these out of the bins. I lotted them up. I sold them. It took less than 3 months. Not a huge profit. Somebody sent a $12 offer. I was like, sure, I don't care. And our profit was $8. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I pulled these bags and I pull mall brand shopping bags. Lululemon, Marine Layer, anything else. I sold the other Aldi Superfan coloring book. Yeah, my Grateful Dead bear. I got 2 of these. This is the one without tags. He was listed for almost a year. Grateful Dead, Liquid Blues, good pickup. Also an Ohio pickup. The Mommy Antique Mall. I think it's in an old Kmart. It's a huge antique mall. We have found some real bangers at this mall. Particularly like this huge zip bags that comforters come in full of Bionicle Lego pieces, which probably had like a $1,500 value for $30. Oh, this was a good one too. Pulled this at the bins. Vintage Disney Pixar Wall-E shirt. There are not a lot of Wall-E clothes out there. And he has quite the following. A rare tie for me. I don't usually pick up ties. I don't know enough about them. Usually pick up novelty ties because I think they're funny. Here's another example of red, white, and blue, 4th of July, Americana. I also took this to 3 places and they all turned it down and it sold in 20 days for me on offer of $22, the profit of $15.34. I got feedback saying it was perfect. This here, Ralph Lauren American Living. I love finding American Living in the bins. It is Ralph Lauren. It's a diffusion line of Ralph Lauren. This week, we had 31 orders, 31 items, gross sales of $645.46, a net profit of $476.48. Net average profit was $15.37, and our net median was $14.84. Most things came out of the bins, the estate sale, closet, free group. eBay won with 57.3%, followed by Poshmark at 26.2%. And we had a little bit more action on Depop. Health of the store. We had 16 listings this week because we were out of town. We don't list when we're out of town. Store goes in vacation mode. We did leave Depop and Poshmark on though, because we weren't going to be gone very long. It was a very quick trip and it worked out just fine. Our listing conversion was 193% and average listed was 2.3 a day. On the shelf, 600 items. Almost 50% of our store are over a year old. We're learning. I call it's a learning curve, and not everything has to sell in 30 days or less, or even 90 days or less. But in those instances, that's great. I appreciate that. And we are selling a lot of clothes. Currently, half our inventory is clothes. It's easy to source. I try to source other things, but it's a lot harder. The hard goods gets picked over pretty quick. When I pick hard goods or pull hard goods, it's for us. This was a crazy pickup yesterday. I went to the bins yesterday and I pulled this. This is 100% complete. It wasn't sealed. It was a little bit askew and I lifted the lid and it looked good. And I was like, I'm just going to grab it because I like to collect Clue games and Monopoly games, different themes. There you go. That was our week. Y'all have a good week and we will talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.